Hi everyone. So this would be the first tutorial on awk. I would like to discuss some basic operation of awk here. Awk is a very powerful language for the text processing. Can really have a good control and quite useful and very easy to use as well. So if I look at the topics here, you can see very clearly the first one is like the awk structure. You should know what is begin block, end block, and the main block in awk. Can cover some examples here, how to use print command in awk, and then some how to define a variable and some built-in variables, and using some conditions like operators or maybe regular expression and some if conditional statements you can give. So the awk structure is very simple. You can have begin, main, and end. So I'll give you an example. So for example, the input is, let's say, 1, and if I write awk, and if I write, let's say, in curly braces, I say here print. So basically this is the main block, and when I'm writing a main block within the curly braces, basically I'm executing a command print on whatever input you get, which is being read by main block. So main block always reads the input lines or input from to the awk command. As you can see, 1 is the input, so it would just execute the print command on this 1 input, so you get a 1 output. Similarly, input is 1 or A and B, A and new line B, so there are 2 inputs now, and it will run the print on both the inputs one by one in the main block. So you can see A and B are coming as input. If I print something different, I can do that. So let's say if I'm printing some other text, say text. So instead of printing A and B, it will execute print text on both the inputs A and B. So it will have, the output would be 2 times text. This is how it works. Let me also give you an example. So here, let's say this is the case. You cannot have an empty awk, which will be actually a false condition. So I'll give an example to make you understand. So if you give 1 here, 1 make this one as true, and by default print is enabled for 1, so it will print whatever input you give here. For example, if you give input as A, it will print A. Okay, if I give a condition as 0, false condition, it will not print anything. So this is how it works. Similarly, if the condition, you can give the main block and then you give a print. So basically the condition 1 is true, hence print will execute same way as above here. So this is the same thing, but that is shortcut. So if I run again, you can see it is printing. So if I give 0, it will not run anything after that. Okay, so you can even have like 2, which is also the true condition, which is more than 0. So it is same thing essentially. So either you can give 0 or more than 1 or 1 to make it true. Okay, and this, if you don't write anything, that's also true because it's internally it means it's 1, so you get A. So these are some of the things how you can run on the main block. Let me discuss about begin block. So begin block works before main block starts. Okay, before it starts reading the input, begin block is it's executed at that time. So you can do begin, and in the begin block you can run some print and say, let's say, welcome. Okay, like this, and close the begin block. Whenever you are using begin block, you have to use the keyword begin, and same way if you want to use end block, you have to use end. But for the main block, you don't need any keyword. So here I'm using sorry about it. So here we are using begin block and the main block. Both the blocks have a print statements. Begin has welcome print, and main block has just the print statement which will print the input, which is A. So let's run it, and you can see welcome A is coming. You can have multiple print statements in begin block. You can have another print by just giving semicolon, say print hi. So it will also incorporate in both begin um, welcome and hi. Okay, or you can simply write a new line character like this and write hello, for example. So you can see even the new line character can be also used in the print statement. Okay. Now I'll give you the last example of end block. End block can be used at the end. You can write something here as well. And you can write here, for example, done. So this would be the end block. And you can see end block is always run after all the inputs given to awk are completed. It will run at the end. Let me give you another classical example of it. For example, you write echo. Let me give this, you can use sequence command seq and say let's say 10 or maybe 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is the input. So you run awk on it. Okay, and you have to use, let's say I'm using begin. I am not using anything in begin, or maybe I will. So here what I'll do in begin, I will say a equals 0. Okay, a equals 0. Okay, and here in the main block, I will say a equals, for example, a plus 1. Okay, so this time it will increment a by 1 for every input. So for one first record, this is the record number 1. Okay, this is record 2, record 3. So for all the records one by one, it will increment a by 1 in the main block. Okay, and now in the end block, I can simply print the last value of a, which would be 4, right? Because a was started at 0, and then we incremented a by like 4 times for because of 4 input, and in the end I am printing that a value. Okay, so let's check how it works. So you can see the a is coming as 4. If I increment a by 2, so every time it will increment it 2, so that means a will be 8. Okay, you can also have a shortcut of this. You can write a plus plus. Same thing, a plus plus means a is equal to a plus 1, so you will get 4, right? So these are some of the tricks you can use in awk, and how you can use. So you can use a variable in the begin, and in the main block you can increment something, and then at the end you can print. Right. Let me give you more examples. Print command is clear, right? Print command, how you can use, and you know how to use begin, main, and end. Some of the built-in variables. Okay, so let's discuss about these built-in variables. So the first is the field separator, FS. So before that, I'll talk what is the field in the record. So when you give some input to awk, for example, this. So these 1, 2, 3, these 3 are the inputs, but these 3 are treated as 3 records, separate records. Record 1, record 2, record 3. And every record has one field here, because you can see first record has just one input, one field. There is no more field here. Similarly to second record and third record. What does it mean? Let me give you an example. Okay, let me make a file. In this file I will write let's say A, B, and C, and then D, E, F, G, and then I, J, K, L, M, N. For example, these 3 lines, right? So I have input here, so I can run awk command, and it is not necessary to use always begin, so I will not use begin in the main block. Like this is the main block. In the main block, I can also print number of field by NF. So I'll tell you that first record has, because there are three lines, right? So first record has three fields separated by a space. Second record has four fields, and third record has one, two, three, four, five, six fields, right? So let's run it nf. Nf is number of field. It will print for every record, and then and you have to give the input file, which is f. So you can see number of field for first record is 3, number of field for second record is 4, and number of field for last record is 6. That's how you can check. And you can also print the record also. So record can be printed by $0, and you can print $0 and comma dollar and nf both. So $0 will print the lines for you, and nf will print the number of fields. So if you run again, you can see it is printing field, all the input or the record for you, and then the number of fields, and similarly to this, and last is this. Okay, you can customize it a little bit. You can write, for example, like this, give a space. Okay, then you can see you are getting a colon. If you don't like, you can use a tab character, and now you can see there's a tab added after record, after the record, and then there's a tab. But you can see it is still not aligned, so you can use two tabs to make it aligned. Try it again. So it is coming better, but we have to give one more tab so that they can further be shifted on the right hand side. Add another tab here. But the problem is that this will not align, we cannot be aligned, because when you're adding the tab on the top, the last one is also getting one extra tab to, and hence it is also getting shifted. So this cannot be aligned directly by the tab command. You have to use printf for that matter, which we can discuss maybe in the next tutorial. Okay, so nf is clear. So I'll tell you about something also, something different. So I will also talk about um uh so this is clear, right? So let me add a space, at least one space, because you can see you can also use one more thing, which is called, you can also print, for example, one more thing which is called nr, number of records. So the number of record means the line number 1 is first record, line number 2 second record, and line number 3 the third record. So you will see nr is incremented by 1, 2, 3. So nr represents number of record, and nf represents number of field, and field itself, the complete, all the fields, or you can say the complete record is printed by $0. Okay, let me tell you how to print separate fields. So you can also print only the first field by $1. So if I run this command, you can see all the first field of every record, A, D, and I are printed. Similarly, you can club one more field by $2. So now the second field is also printed. Similarly, you can also use third field by $3. The third field is printed. So you can see A, B, C all are printed. Basically, this is nothing but if you just use $0, it is the same thing. Sorry about the syntax. It's 0 here. Okay. So you can see $0 will print all the records. You can see first record, second, third, but 1, 2, 3 will only print the three fields of every record. You can see the difference in both the commands. Hope it is clear. If not, just go ahead and watch again. So you can swap the field also. Let's say 2 and 1. Comma is something, I'll tell you now what is comma. So you can add a comma in between. So now you can see how can you swap fields. So now the field number 2 is coming first, and first field is coming at the second space, because I have given 2 first and 1 last. Comma is nothing but, comma is when you use comma in the print command, this comma is replaced by output field separator, which is a space or white space, you can see. So this is the output field separator. Let me explain you one more example of field separator so that you understand it better. Okay, so let me make one example. F1 is already there. Let me just delete all of it and write A comma B, C comma D comma E, and I comma J comma J comma K comma L. Okay, these four, something like that. So this time all the fields are separated by comma, right? So let's say cat F1, you can see. So let's run our normal awk command here and see how we can work out on it. So if I tried the same thing like before, I say print $1, comma $2, there is a problem here, right? Because there is no second field. There is only one field. So let's try first. Print $0. $0 is the entire record. So F1, everything is coming correctly. So if I say $1, look, $1 is nothing but it's complete one field. You cannot separate A and B with each other because in between there is no space, white space. It's just the comma. That's why everything is coming as a first field. So if I do 2, there won't be any second field. You can see all empty. So there is no second field in this situation, right? So this is, so if I want to make these A and B separate fields, C and D separate fields, I have to use the field separator, FS, input field separator. So I will say, or I will tell awk to change it. So what you can do is in the begin block, you can write FS and make a FS value to a comma. I'm making the field separator as, defining the field separator as comma for awk. Now this comma will be treated as a field separator. So now A and B can be separated out by $1 and $2. So you can check now. You can see now A and B are separated by by comma because of the field separator. Now you can also check number of fields for in every record. So you can see number of fields are now 2, 3 and 4. AAB2, CDE 3 and IJKL is 4. That's how you can do that. Now I'll show you one more thing which is called field separator is clear. Now I will also define an output field separator. So output field separator I told already, when you use the comma, let me first tell you the concept. So when I'm doing this, so this comma here, right? This comma in the print command, this will be replaced by the output field separator. And output field separator means whatever is coming in between two fields is the output field separator in the output. So this is replaced by, comma is replaced by output field separator, and that is and the default value of output field separator is same as input field separator, which is white space. You can change it also. So for example, if I add output field separator OFS to some other value, for example, I can write a output field separator as underscore. Okay. Now check. So the output is coming as A underscore B, C underscore D, and I underscore J. Because two fields are taken, so you can give even 1 and 3 you can combine, you can see. So in the first field, in the first record, there is no third field. That's why it is coming empty for the first record. And for others, it is coming correctly. So this is how you can also use output field separator. Okay. Now I'll tell you what is a record separator. For example, there is a file, and in this file I will write, for example, A, and then a B, and then C. Okay, and there are 3 lines into it. Okay, so the records cat. If I do cat F2, these 3 are the records, right? The first line is the first record, second line is the second record, and third line is the third record. So these 3 lines are input to the awk, and the record separator RS, this one, is nothing but it is a new line character. So awk understand that this is the first record, this is second record, third, because they are separated by a new line character. Okay, so RS is by default a new line character. So for example, an output field separator ORS is also the new line character. When you print the output, every record is being also separated by new line character. Okay, this is a normal flow of awk, but let's just change it a little bit. Okay, so I'll say F2. What I'll do here, I will write here, for example, a new line, extra new line in between, like this. like this one. So now you can see between A and B there is extra blank line every time, right? So if this is the situation, and if we run awk command, and if I write here, for example, in the main block, if I print a number of record nr, okay, if I print nr, sorry about the typo, let me just kill it. Okay, if I'm printing nr here on file f2, you will see the number of records will be 6 or 5. Let's check how. So 1 2 3 4 5, maybe 5, not 6. Let's check. So cat f2, you can see first A and then blank line 2, B3, blank line 4, and C5. So there are 5 records basically, right? There are 5 records. The blank line is also treated as a record. But if you want to avoid the blank line to be treated as a separate record, what you can do is you can change the definition of awk, tell awk that record separator I want to define as a new line, two times new line. Because if I do it, so now 2 times new line is the case of between A and B. There are 2 new lines. So now first record will be treated as A, and second record is treated as B, and third record is treated as C. So there will be 3 records now. Okay, so check. There are now 3 records coming up. Okay, so what are those records? You can print also by $0. You can see only A, B, C are getting printed. Okay, as you can see here, A, B, C, just 3. Okay, 3 records are getting printed. Now every record has one field, as you know, right? Every record has one field, so $1 is that field. So you can check. So every record has one field. So A, B, C, three fields are also coming in that fashion. But you can see the output record is still, output record separated is still a new line. That's why they are still coming in the same line. But you can change that definition also by writing ORS. Define the ORS to something also different. For example, if you write output field record separator as, let's say, 3 new lines, for example. Okay, like this. Now the output is coming as, there would be 3 new lines in between A, in between B and C, and there is also the output record separator after C also will be getting effective. Why? Because we are using the print command, and print command prints whatever it is printed in a new line character, and there is a ORS which is 2 new lines as well. So basically overall there will be 3 new lines after C also. Like if you simply use 0, it will, the same thing will happen here. Okay, this thing also be controlled. If you want to ignore the last lines, this can also be done by some more advanced method, like identify if the record is the last record, then just don't use ORSS 3 new line, but maybe 1 new line. That can be possible. So I hope you understand the concept of RS and ORS also, and FS and OFS also. What is FNR? Let me discuss that FNR. Okay, let me show you the example of FNR. So let me just create F2. So F2 is already there. So let me just remove these blank lines for easy understanding. F2. This is F2. I'll create F3 also. Okay. In F3, I will write, for example, G and then J and then K. 3. Right. So we have cat F2 and F3 written like this, right? So now let's see what happens. For example, if I write awk command and I write in the main block, I write print print, and I'll write number of records, right? Okay, and you know what I'm talking about. So if I'm printing the number of record for F2, 1 2 3 will come, right? Because there are 3 inputs. Similarly for F3 also it will be 1 2 3, correct? Now look what will happen. If I write F2 F3, the NR will keep on counting the records. Okay, it will treat it as one stream, as a one input. F2 F3 will be combined. So you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6. So NR is actually keeping that stream counting as one stream, you can see like a sed. Okay, so you can change this behavior by writing fnr. Fnr will count record file by file. Okay, so now check. So now 1 2 3 is for the first file f2, and again 1 2 3 4 is for the first second file. Okay, that's how you can also use fnr. So I can print both nr and then colon fnr. So you can see the clear difference. nr is 1 2 3 4 5 6, while fnr is 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3. Okay, can you do the file, can you print file name also? Answer is yes, you can. So let's try to do that. I will use a file name variable like this, and you can see there is something is happening. Yeah, add a another colon to understand. You can see file name variable can also fetch the file input file name for you. So f2 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 f3 f3 f3. So file name is also another aspect of it. Okay, so maybe it is handy, so you can make a note of it. Okay, so this is pretty much. Let me just quickly go through some of the operators and show you how it works. So for example, if I write a sequence 5, for example 1 2 3 4 5, I write a awk on it. I say if the let's say if the condition matches with 3 only. Okay, you write this in the condition like in forward slash, and then you print only that record. Okay, so basically you are telling awk to just print if input matches with 3. So there is only one 3 which is matching, right? You can see only 3 is coming. So this is the similarly you can write, for example 1, output is only coming for the 1, and if you write 2, output is only coming for 2. Okay, so here this is one way of doing it. Okay, you have to use without that, so it is coming as 3. Okay, or you can use regular expression by using tilde, and now you have to use back forward slash for your regular expression. Okay, like this. So it will work like that also. Regular expression can be used by tilde. If you say if the first field is not equal to 3, then print. So it will print what? 1 and 2, as you can see. These are some of the basic concepts. So you can even use $0 because here there is only one field. So you can either use $0 or $1. It doesn't matter. Okay. So I hope it is clear here. You can also do, for example, this. You can write here if either matches with 3 or, for example, 2. So you can do that as well. You can see only 3 and 2 are matched. You can use OR operator. Okay. So this is also another way of writing the OR operator here. Okay. So let me give you another. Okay. Let me give you this example. So I can say number of record. For example, if I say number of record, let's say if I want to just print line number 2, I can say if nr equals to 2, then print. So you can see only line number 2 is printed. If I say nr equals to 3, only third line is printed. Or you can also say print line number 2 or line number 3. You can print both of them by using OR, right? I hope it is clear. Now I'll give you an example of using the same file. So I can say also that if the number of record is line number 1 and the number of fields in that line is 3, then only you print. But if I need both the conditions, so I will use AND operator and then it will print. But for example, for line number 2 this is not the case, right? Because line number 2 the number of fields are 4 not 3, so it will not print because both conditions are not satisfied. So you can check, it will not print. When it will print, when I change the enough to 4, then it will print. So this is very easy. You can play with these kind of thing in here. Okay. You can also write, for example, let me give another example of regular expression. You can say if the number of if the sorry if the third field tilde, use tilde for regular expression. If the third field has, for example, anything between ABCD. So if the third field has anything between ABCD, then print it. Okay, so you can see which third field has ABCD. Only the first record has ABCD. So you can see only the first is being printed. But if I write here, for example, A to G, now anything between A to G will be that record will be printed. Now this case will cover line number 1 and line number 2. So you can see how easily you can also print both the lines, and if you want to print all the lines, you can also write A to Z. So now all the lines are for the third field are covered. Clear? So this is how you can use regular expression in different scenarios. Okay, what is left? So if, okay, I'll let you give an example of if. What you can echo ABC new line DEF. Let's first check whether it is working fine or not. Echo minus E. This is good, right? So we write awk. Inside awk, I will write in the main block. In the main block, okay? I write if $0 $0 is the record. If $0 matches with ABC, okay, then run the print command and close the main block. So you can see only ABC is getting printed. So here I can also write, for example, if $0 is equal to ABC or $0 is equal to DEF, then run the print command. So it will run for both. And if I write end, then what will happen? There is no such record where both the condition can be made together, right? So it will not print anything. Okay, so that's why you have to use OR operator here, because in this situation the first record is ABC, which is met by this condition. In the second record, DF is met by this condition. I hope you liked this awk tutorial. I will probably make more if you prefer. Go through it. I have given plenty of examples. Good luck, happy learning. Bye.